Coach Matt Newby. How are
Hey, Coach,
you?
how's it going? Good,
It's
good.
good. It's good. Yeah, we are just kind of rolling along. Let me put that. Make sure I put that on there. Coach, I'm gonna let you kind of do your own intro, and we'll roll right into it.
All right, yeah, like it says down there, I'm Coach Matt Newby. I'm the offensive line coach at McMurry University in Abilene, Texas. Been here all of a month and a half. Came in from a private school here in Austin, but I'm a McMurray alumni. Graduated 2016, played here. Program wise, we're a Division III program. We're in town with a Division I program, Abilene Christian, and another Division III, Hardin Simmons. So we fight for a lot of the same guys just in that area and that region of Texas alone. But we recruit all over Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, New Mexico a little bit here and there. But so we don't care where they come from as long as they come and they can play. So getting into it, guys. I'm going to just talk about our 11 personnel stuff that we've been doing with our gap scheme stuff just in the spring. We're in spring football right now. We're on spring break, but we're in midpoint of spring football. We just got done with our first half spring ball, and then we'll come back after the break and finish up with the last half, and then, of course, our spring game to cap it all off. And I'll have a schedule at the end that you can look at for any of you guys that are in Texas. Can come visit, come see a practice. They're open anytime. Let us know. You can come in if you want to sit in on an offensive line meeting. By all means, come on in and come see us. Just recapping of what basically I had already just said. Alumni 2016. Been coaching 8 years, 7 years in high school. I did my first year, of course, coaching was as a student assistant. I had got injured, blown out my shoulder, and the doc said, "Hey, you can't play no more, or I can't fix it." So I said, "Hey, if I can't play it no more, I might as well coach," and been loving it, enjoying it ever since. I've been in Texas and Louisiana. I spent 3 years, a little bit of that time, 3 years of it in Louisiana, coaching some 2A and 4A ball there in Louisiana at Oakdale and Bolton in Alexandria. In my short time, I've been OC, DC, interim head coach, coached things that I never thought I'd coach DBs, coach linebackers, coach running backs, even a little bit of quarterback stuff. So I've been coaching it all, it seems like, in the short amount of time. But some points that I've learned from that is, especially when it comes to offensive line play and stuff like that, never say never when coaching different O-line techniques. One of the things that when I came out, I was like, man, I'm never going to coach the flipper. I'm never going to use that. Well, that doesn't have a purpose anymore in football. We can use our hands. But having coached in some of those 2A schools, and then when I was coaching in private school here in Texas before I got to McMurry, I learned real fast that it has a purpose. You get an undersized lineman that can't really control him with his hands, doesn't have a strong bench press. That's the kind of thing you want to be able to, hey, reach into your tool bag and use something that you can use to defeat him with, leverage and power and using your body more so than just your hands to control and defeat a guy. And then I put this down here at the bottom. Mainly for young guys, young coaches, because I was one of those coming out. I'm only going to ever coach offensive line, and that went out the door probably year two. I ended up being a offensive line, defensive line, and running backs coach at Oakdale in Louisiana. But don't put yourself in a category. Coach what you know and be a student of what you don't. I mean, I think that's huge. And even that, having coached O-line 8 years, and there's other guys that I know, guys on here that have been coaching a lot longer than I have, that, y'all are still learning something new every day, and there's always something you can learn. And one of the best things that's happening right now in football is Jim McNally being on Twitter. So I love seeing that guy, some of his goofy videos and anecdotes and things like that. So we're going to hop right into it here with power. This is just basic, drawing up what we do. Right now with a tight end attached. We can put him on the line, and I'll talk about some variations of it. But this is just a basic drawing up of it. And, I put on here the coaching points, guys. If y'all want to screenshot it, use it, by all means do so. I'll have at the end of this, of course, I'll have my email and cell number that y'all can reach out to me, and I'll send this to y'all. This is something I just put together, pulled it out of our big install that we have, and just use this to kind of some points and talking points for y'all and to hear how we teach some things. So our why, we don't really, we have some definitive things that are going to be said as far as where he can align. He can't be more than 3 yards off the ball or behind the line of the offensive lineman. and he can't be inside half of the play side guard right here just because of snap and things like that. And of course, we use smart splits with our tackles and guards to help push that out a little bit to help get him some room and leverage in there to dig out on that defensive end. And then also, if he decides to squeeze, we're going to work midline and try to outside half and wash him in and just create a part of that double team becomes a triple basically, and shove him in there and make him a part of the pile and a part of the wash. Our play side double team. One of the things we really want to focus on is getting some vertical off the line movement, vertical tube at the point of attack. So getting in there, and I don't know if anybody knows Barry Chinnis, old coach at Southern down in New Orleans. He teaches the cheek to cheek instead of hip to hip, and something that I've used and learned to really like because it helps keep our guys from bumping off of each other and creating a natural gap in the double team if they try to settle into it too hard, too fast. With teaching shoulder to shoulder and hip to hip, it just gives a different landmark, a different idea, teaching them, to over exaggerate some things so that it looks better when it's actually in use. They're not actually getting maybe cheek to cheek, but the thought process in their head of what they're trying to work to helps us out. So we're double team play side, first man play side of the center. And this, with this being an over front right here, we could also do it to an under front. Working with that guy, and it'll be more of almost a scoop block with our tackle really trying to 3 hard step flat, trying to set in there and get into it to help push the guard off so he can slip right up to the -1, or right here we've got it listed as Mike, and ignore those guys up top because they're not going to be drawn up necessarily exactly how they would be in a game. It's just how I had it on what you call it, huddle. So right there, our center. Our center is what we call a cat call, and that's just center and tackle with our backside tackle, and you'll see it. I mean, everybody, you should know gap seal hinge. That's a pretty basic terminology right there used for that. But we really want our center and tackle to try to close and come into one and peel off on that end late. So we got a cat call right there, and I teach our backside tackle that he is going to really try to shuffle down in there, probably 2 to 3 steps shuffle in there. To kind of try to attack with that outside shoulder or that nose guard, that shade with his inside hand, and just try to get even a hand placement, a half second, quarter second little stun on him before he can wheel back out and pick up that end that's rushing up the field. If that guy gets there, I teach my guys, if he gets there, he's All-American. He should not get there. If you're moving quick enough and you're moving in the right direction, he should not be able to get there. So our guards, we tell them, I have them skip pull, keeping shoulders square, keeping body square. And this plays into some of our other stuff when we get into like our 10 personnel and work trap. And then here in a little bit, you'll see when we work our GY and GT counter, we keep his shoulders square when pulling and shuffling flat down the line of scrimmage so that it gives the same look to that play side defensive end every time. He doesn't know whether it's power and he's going to sit up, climb up to the backer, or if he's going to kick him out. So it's a little way for us to give a different look, or the same look for different plays, so that they keeps them guessing and keeps them thinking they know what's coming, and then something else happens. Moving on, our dart. Dart, of course, just tackle pulling. Kind of the same idea. Now we have our tight end set backside, and going back, I'll go. Let's see. Going back right here, we can actually, if we feel like, hey, this guy squeezes really well and we can't dig him out, we can, of course, always read him. And what we'll do is we'll have our Y. He will arc release, and we'll just basically load block the ID or point man, whatever you use as your terminology. He'll load block that guy. Or if we have a down safety, a walk down safety out there wide, he'll kick out that guy and just give us a little bit. If we have to bounce this for some reason, gives us some running room or a running lane to go through out wide. Dart, same thing as far as concept, still basically kind of like power, but we're just pulling our tackle, gives us a little bit different. This is going to be teams that like to go under front to our strength. Gives us better angles all the way around. Starting play side, we tell our guys that, drawn up there, it looks a little wider than what they probably will be. That guy will probably be a 5, maybe even a little bit wider into a 6 or 7 position. But we tell our guys to drive them to 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock on, we teach them anything from 3 to 9, up top, That's what we use as our directions instead of angles, teaching guys angles. Hey, a 45-degree angle. Hey, a 10-degree angle, that kind of stuff. It just makes it a little bit simpler. 90-degree, we just, hey, easy. 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, backside 11, 10, 9. Just teach them something simple and easy they can use, something they should all know, how a clock works and how a clock looks. So we tell our guys inside half and drive to 1 o'clock. And one thing I teach our guys is, this area right here along the side, I call it the sweetmeat. You plant that grenade in there and you lift with that inside armpit. And then with your outside hand is what you're throwing with your underhook to get that vertical push and driving with. And this is one of those areas where, hey, if I have a guard or a tackle that's a little bit undersized or strength-wise up top, he's going to use that flipper that I mentioned earlier as his play side, technique to get in there and get that drive and leverage on it. If he can't just reach out and grab him with his hands and lift and push and drive him, we're going to sink our shoulder into his gut and lift through our hips and drive him vertical. And that's one way that we just kind of, again, a little point that defeats having to think, hey, you got to use your hands. Yes, we want to eventually take that flipper and flip down and go into a controlled position. But for initial drive off the line and vertical displacement, we're going to go ahead and do whatever we have to do to get that guy moving vertical. So that's our play side guys. Next is our double team, backside double team. We got a get it call, which is our backside double team on gap, get it call. All right. And this is a true, almost want to treat it like inside zone vertical tube. Drawn up here, it shows working vertical, and then back to that guy. Realistically, he's probably going to be scraping across the top. Oh, what happened? Go back. There we go. He's probably going to be scraping across the top, and we're going to end up slipping off with our center, most likely to get him. But, one big key point is, hey, go where he's going to be, not where he's at. Don't get stuck in your head just because that's where he starts. That's where he's going to end. You may end up driving this guy across the formation. He may end up, all the way over outside our right tackle if we're running dart to the right. And then tackle here, we do teach our tackles to bucket step when they pull, get wide, get open, and run flat down the line of scrimmage, finding the first point of insertion and get vertical, work it inside half of that the ID. And one thing that, again, here we got to use it's teaching the same thing that we do on dart or on GT counter, so that we don't have to, these guys, hey, you ain't got to remember a whole bunch of techniques. Just do these couple things really well, and we'll get really good at a few things instead of being okay at a lot of stuff. And that's one thing that I learned coming in, and one of the things the head coach and I really talked about coming in is, hey, we've got to get good at a couple of key things instead of just trying to do everything. Everything. Give them a few key points that they can really work on and hone on here in the spring, and then we get in the fall, we can build upon that from there. Let's see. On dart, do you have specific rules based on the front? So yeah, our double team, our backside double team is definitely going to be a first man, like head up to play side. So if we've got an odd front here, we're gonna, the guard center is gonna actually step play side first to make sure and maintain leverage. On an odd front, it would be different. It would be the guard would peel back to the end, working for what would be technically -2 with the Y, and then our play side guard and center would work to the -1 with our tackle inside settle and surge step, driving this guy out to 1 o'clock again, and then tackle would be pulling around just like he is there. That would be versus an odd front. And over front, it would just be a down block by the guard with the center, block back with the backside guard on it. What would be a 3 technique if it was an over front to the strength. And then a bear front, we've got a call. When we get a bear front, we've got a call, we call it daddy, which is down, down, basically. Just another way of saying down, down, a daddy call, which everybody's blocking down. Everybody's creating a big wash. And we're going to, if the end, play side end is outside, we're going to still drive him to 1 o'clock, but it would be backside guard, center, and play side guard would all be creating that wash with our Y still inserting and kicking out. And tackle would just be running the wall and inserting the first time he got daylight. So good question. All right, next is our GT counter. And I'm sorry, guys, when I did this on PowerPoint, it looked a lot cooler and you could actually read it. But sitting here looking at it in the display, it doesn't look like you can read it. But that says GT counter up at the top. And this is just, basic counter for us. I mean, same thing. We just got tight end detached. He can be attached. Again, it's a preference and a game time decision on what we're going to do, and preparing through the week of what that defensive end does. Is it's going to be better for us to have him in the backfield, or can we have him aligned on the line of scrimmage and inside setting that guy? If he's a more of an edge rusher and not a cross face inside guy, then we're definitely going to try and put him up on the line of scrimmage and let him just hold him right there. But also the reason we like him in the backfield is it does allow us to get him out if we decide to option off of this. It gives us the ability to arc release him to either send the flats or a choice route or something like that. So basic GT right here. I mean, same thing for our Y, a line for success to dig out the backside in. If he squeezes, you're working midline to inside, trying to get inside half to keep him from scraping all the way down and getting to the play. Play side double team is the same thing right here. It's it's still a deuce call for us. It's still a deuce call right here, even though if it's an under front and he's working inside half. Sorry, I was reading your comment. I'll get to that. We're working just a deuce call, and it is still the run flat for the play side tackle. It's almost like you're running stretch to the left there or the right, depending on which one's the play side tackle. You're running, getting flat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and getting vertical on the fifth. If that nose decides to sit and play that gap, and then you're going to do all you're going to try to do is get a piece of him and force him to for sure go backside, not allowing him to scrape back in across the guard's face and come back play side and make a play. And then again, we're working to the -1, which is first linebacker head up to backside of our center. And then coming through our guard, saying our center, just, hey, he's probably right here because we're skip pulling. He's just going to probably shuffle, and then work driving out old school, almost sab block from there, of just driving that guy out to the sideline, taking him out of the play, removing him. And I mean, if at all, minimum stonewalling him right there and not letting him chase her back across the play. And if he does come off, he has to do it upfield so that he can't chase the play down and give us negative yardage. He's got to do it at 4 to 5 yards. We don't want him penetrating and creating anything that can allow negative yardage. Right here, same thing for my guard that we talked about on power. He's skip pull, staying square, and the reason is for that is in case that play side end decides to crash or squeeze, we can easily log him. We stay in square to log him, and we're not trying to have to peel back late on that guy and try to adjust on the fly. If he's squeezing, it's real easy for us. We just stick a foot in the ground, get north on his outside half, and turn him in and just create him part of the wash, part of that double team. And then again, play side or backside tackle, he just bucket step open, running that wall and reacting off the guard. If that guard ends up having to log, he knows he just got to go a little bit wider. And instead of working inside half there, he would just work outside half or best fit. A lot of things, like I say, when I tell them, hey, I want you to work in the inside half, it's really an exaggeration idea of really wanting them to stay tight and hug the wall. It's more of, hey, if he's outside, take him outside. If he's inside, keep him inside. Don't let him dictate where our running back's going to go. You are the one that dictates, hey, here's your running lane for our running back. And then Y, same thing. And we can even, if we want to eagle call this and read that backside end for maybe our quarterback to pull and insert backside, we can eagle call this, and he can either arc or we can insert him, and he can work up to the -1, the mic right there. Splits on counter, again, is one of those things right here, especially against an underfront. It'd be a little bit more difficult for our play side tackle if he was smart splitting this and getting out at 2.5 to 3 to really get in there and help with that nose. But again, that's kind of you got to watch film and game plan on that. If he's a guy that can cross back over the top of the guard, or if you've got a guard that really can't control a down block, well, that's something you would have to look at and consider. Right here with what I've got right now, the guys I've got, I probably would smart split him out to 2.5 just to give ourselves a little bit better timing wise for our pulling guard, just to give him a little bit of time to see it a little bit clearer. Backside right here with the center and backside guard where he's pulling, he's definitely going to try and cheat down to a foot and a half, maybe if the guy really doesn't want to come with him, but he's going to try and cheat down as much as possible to give our center the shortest distance possible to have to get over and get on that guy. And really and truly our play side guard, he's going to probably cheat down as well. I mean, I would rather him cheat down and this play have to bounce than him to stay wide and this play end up, in the backfield, 2 to 3 yards deep getting tackled because we didn't get on that guy. I would rather him put him on the center's back and run both of them down the line than have to worry about him blowing through my inside shoulder and getting penetration and blowing up this play. Backside tackle kind of can do the same thing that we've been doing as far as lining and giving our tight end a little bit of time. Because we've got to remember our backfield's still going to be timing up and running off of his hip. So, our back's going to 1-2 opposite way and then come across. So if he's got to split out wide, it's not going to hurt. Again, at a 2.5 to 3 foot split, it's not going to be so earth shattering as far as timing wise and changing the play up that he can't split out wide to help give our tight end a little bit better time, a little bit better leverage point to get in there and dig that out. So that's how we would, as far as splits wise, it would be first thing is, we want to play with our normal 2.5 foot split, 2 foot split. And then from there, from game planning, kind of adjust on who, depending on what we're facing personnel wise of what we would see versus an odd front right here. It would be really simple wise as far as, play side tackle, you're going to take him as wide as he wants to go. And then, play side guard, you're going to tighten down as much as you can without getting into the way or not. I don't want you getting foot to foot here, but you're going to tighten down as much as you can to help out. And at minimum right there, what I want to see is him attacking that near shoulder and throwing him to the backside A before he works vertical. That way we give our center the best opportunity to, again, a minimum wall him off and stonewall him and create that wall right there. And then working vertical for our -1 scraping across the top. And then backside would be the same thing. Guard, you're going to tighten down if need be to give yourself a shorter distance to work that kick out so you can get there quick. And then backside tackle can, again, widen to line for help our tight end line for success. And tight end right here, just a key point of if we're tackles pulling just like on dart, you don't want to be a yard off this guy. You want to give him probably 2 yards so that he can get his bucket step in, get his depth, and work flat down the line at 2 to 3 yards deep so that he can have good vision to second level and to have an insertion to find the insertion point to get vertical. So he's going to be probably 2 yards deep right here and probably at minimum inside leg of the tackle, maybe even have to be outside leg of the guard. If not, just playing head up in the gap. So that's how we would do splits on a GT. GY makes it a whole lot easier versus an even front as far as splits and everything like that. We don't have to worry about it with the backside, with the tackle and the tight end. The only thing he has to do is not outrun the guard, and he's going to actually try to let the guard get out and trace the inside hip of the guard there. But he's a line inside foot. There we go. I got a line inside foot. The backside tackle, that's kind of the widest. We really want him to get on that any wider than that because he is going to mirror. He's going to punch step out just to kind of show this second level guy, we might be running at something outside. If they're spying into the backfield with him and are keying on him, we want to give them that shoulder fake, 1-step shoulder fake, and the timing allowing to get our guard out. So that's him, and then he's going to shuffle flat down the line of scrimmage and then find the insertion point and get vertical right in the inside hip of the pulling guard. Got you, Coach. And then working front side, we've got our deuce call right here, and this is more of your true deuce, B-gap, double team, working to the backside backer or -1. Right here, I want our guard teaching point wise. If he's my outside shoulder, I don't want to give up any room, so I'm going to settle with my inside foot and then surge with my outside. Settle and surge is something that, I learned that from Mason Miller, who's the OC at Tarleton now, when he was our O-line coach at McMurry back in the day. settling thirds through his inside half. Tackle, you're going to drive, work the same thing we would as now you're driving to 11 o'clock. You're thinking, hey, I'm going to work outside sweep meat of the DT. And then inside hand is my fork, lifting it up, underhook lift. All right. And then let's go center. Center, same thing. Hey, I would probably tell him right there, same thing. You want to settle with your play side foot just to make sure that if he's going to try to scrape across the front, across the top and spike across, that we're going to want to have at least something in that direction, flash a hand, something that's showing him, hey, hey, you can't come this way. I'm prepared for you to come over here. And side note, guys, if anybody has anything on coaching a left-handed center, this is in 8 years. This is my first time coaching a left-handed center, and it's a little different and teaching things because I keep constantly trying to show him everything right-handed, and then he looks at me crazy because he's like, Coach, I snap with my left. But anyway, side note, so if you got anything, send it to me. Backside guard, same thing that we do on everything else, power and GT, skip pulling, keeping square, not showing his numbers until he gets to the point of attack. And again, allowing that if he has to, if this end squeezes, he can log this guy. And then our Y just has to take one or two shuffles further to get out. And again, right here, I have him showing working inside half. That's not always the case. If he's scraping outside, scraping across the top, if he's outside of our tackle, hey, if he's outside, keep him outside. If he's inside, keep him inside. But we want to for sure attack inside half and make him work where we want him to be and not letting him dictate where the play is going. Backside right here, with the backside tackle, we're going to still have a cat call on the back, which is center and tackle. He's going to do the same thing he did on power. He's going to shuffle, try to get that inside hand to the outside shoulder of the nose, the backside shade, and then he's going to wheel back and just run that defensive end up the field. Right here, again, this is another play. We can eagle this and read the backside end and just send our tackle vertical to low block this -1 if we wanted to. We can do a couple different things here with our Y. We can hot him off of this and just showing counter, and then he releases on that mic. We've been running counter. Hey, you know what? We're gonna release him, and he's gonna run a route probably an out route off of that, depending on safety alignment. Just something to give ourselves a little bit of advantage right there. I think, Coach, that is all. Here is my information, guys. Like I said, I'm offensive line coach McMurray. I got there mid-February. There's my Twitter, email. You can school email me, no problem. Phone number if you want to hit me up. And then my at McMurray Football got washed out, but our Twitter handle for our football page is at McMurray Football. Here's our spring calendar right here. Like I said, right now we're on spring break, and next week we take it through 4 days, Monday through Thursday. On Tuesday and Thursday, we will be in pads, and then the following week is our lead up to our spring game. Tuesday we'll be in pads, and then Saturday for our spring game we'll be in pads. Be in Division III, we only get 4 days in pads. Unfortunately, it's not as fun as you think, but it is good, and it's good for our guys to get a lot of work out of pads, so that we really work on focusing on hand placement and technique and stuff like that. So when we get the pads on, it just is a little bit easier. As far as the control side of things, inside drill right now versus our D-line is not always fun. There's a lot of arguments, but it is good technique work and a good over-exaggeration of our key coaching points and what we're trying to do and how we attack things. So down there at the bottom, guys, and Coach shared it over here in the comment section, that is the link to our questionnaire. If you have any guys, 23 guys that haven't found a home, I'm still looking around at a couple of offensive linemen. We've got about 8 or 9 good ones coming in right now. Some good guys that are going to be really helpful for us right out the gate, probably. But I still need some more guys and what I inherited. We're working on them, but we're looking for some good guys for the future. So 2023, 24s, anything 25, 26 is any of your guys want to fill out a questionnaire and just get us their information early, and we can follow them along and follow them as they grow as athletes, and one day hopefully you get them here with us at McMurray. So anything you got, guys, there's my information. Don't be afraid to reach out. Text me if you want this presentation, and more than welcome to shoot it to you. I got it cleared with our head coach. There's no terminology on here or play calling stuff. So I can share this out, no problem. Just let me know, and appreciate you guys listening in today.
Thanks, Coach. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, absolutely.